Welcome everyone to lecture number 38. Okay, so till now we have discussed fundamental rights, fundamental duties, DPSPs. These all aspects we have completed. Okay, now we are proceeding towards the amendment of the constitution topic. Okay, how the amendment used to be done within the constitution, what is the basic structure, what is the doctrine of basic structure. We will discuss all those things now. Okay, so in this lecture we'll start this topic, that amendment of the constitution. Okay, so what exactly is this amendment of the constitution? So we and why is this amendment required? So is it so that policy maker were not sure that whatever they are going to be right in the constitution, they are not correct, or they may be changed in the future? Okay, if that was the mindset, that's why now amendment procedure is mentioned in the constitution. So yeah, we'll see what exactly is the concept behind that. See, the drafter of the constitution believed that it needs to reflect societal changes as well as aspiration of the population. Okay, that they while framing of the constitution, their aim was to to be believed that their aim, whenever the constitution are framed, their aim was to make society better and tolerance. Okay, and they believed that when the constitution was framed, they even believed that as per the period goes, as per the time travel, there will be a required changes as per the society needs, because society get evolves over a period of time, and that's why they also provide the provision for the amendment of the constitution. Okay, so they believed that it needed to reflect societal changes as well as aspirations of the population. Okay, they had a belief that as per the society change and aspiration of the population will change, so that kind of provision should also be there in the constitution. Okay, so they did not consider the constitution as a sacred and unchanging law. They did not consider this as a unchanging law and all. Okay, they therefore included provision of occasionally incorporating modifications. Okay, and whenever the modifications is happening within the constitution, so whenever the modification will happen, that will be considered as the constitutional amendments. Okay, that will be called as the constitutional amendments. Okay, however, the procedure of amendment led in Indian constitution is neither as easy in Britain nor as difficult as in the USA. In USA, changing in the constitution is very difficult. Okay, and in Britain, the changing of the constitution is very easy. Okay, so our constitution is in between that. Our constitution is neither rigid and nor flexible, not much flexible, but yes, it is difficult to be changed, but it can be changed. Okay, so who has the power to amend the constitution? From where this constitution amendment can be done, and which gives the provision to amend the constitution? Article there are 25 parts of the constitution. There are total 25 parts of the constitution. Okay, and within that, one second, Yeah, and within that part, part 20, part 20 denotes with respect to the, mainly with respect to the constitution amendment. Okay, what is that? So there is something called as a article 368. Article 368 is there, which is under the part 20. Okay, in no, in Roman number we used to write like this. Okay, part 20 of the Indian Constitution. Total how many parts do we have in Indian Constitution? Total 25 parts. Okay, here where it deals with the, this article 368 deals with the, deals with the power of the parliament to amend the constitution and its procedure, and its procedure if requires. Okay, so the parliament is empowered to amend or repeal any provision of the constitution in accordance with the procedure laid down for this purpose. Okay, so after that the constitution amendment is there, that we can amend the constitution, but not, it's like that whatever you want, you will amend it. It is not like that. Okay, why? Because there was one ruling happened. So see, when the parliament has been given a power that yes, you can amend the constitution, so now power comes with responsibility. Okay, now let us suppose parliament has become irresponsible. Okay, and they are twisting the things within the constitution as per their political requirement, political will. Okay, political interest. Okay, and in that case even they have a right that they can change any fundamental rights and all. Okay, if they want, if they have some interest in if they have some political interest, they can do so. So for that thing, a ruling came to tackle this concept. Earlier it was happening to tackle this thing. In 1973, Keshav Nanda Bharti case happened. Keshav Nanda Bharti case happened in 1973, that parliament cannot amend those provisions which forms the basic structure of the constitution. Okay, parliament have the power to amend the constitution, but they don't have a power to amend the basic structure of the constitution. What is this basic structure? We'll discuss. There is a separate lecture for that. Okay, so yes, so this is all about the picture that I have given you, that how we can enter into the amendment things. Okay, so I've just given you what exactly is amendment, which article gives the power to amend the constitution. Okay, and why this amendment has been included by the constitution makers. So we have discussed those things. Now what are the types of amendments do we have? We understood like what is amendment. Okay, changing within the constitution is required, that will be called as a amendments. Okay, now what are the types of amendments that we have to discuss now? Types of amendments. See, article 368 of the constitution has provided, just now we have told you that article 368 has the provision that has given the power to the parliament to amend the constitution. Okay, but as per the Keshav Nanda Bharti case in the 1973, yes, we have the power, yes, the parliament has the power as from the article 368 of the constitution, that they can amend the constitution, but they cannot amend the basic structure of the constitution. That has been by verdict has been given by the Supreme Court. But at any case, whatever the amendments is going to be done, that will be done under the article 368. But yes, there is a certain things we'll discuss. Okay, that's why I have given a topic as the types of amendments. Okay, so Article 368 of the Indian Constitution has provided, this provided has two types of amendments. Okay, two types of amendments. What are the two types? First, in the first amendment, is that by a special majority of the parliament, a special majority of parliament along with the ratification of the state legislature by a simple majority is required. Okay, so in the first case, a special majority is required to bill to be passed. I have discussed what is a special majority. Two-third of the uh, two-third of the present and strength of the people of the parliament. We have seen that what is a special majority. Okay, and in the second scenario, it is that a special majority along with the 50% ratification of the state. Okay, yeah, sorry, I have just I think total strength, not total strength, present and voting. Okay, okay, two-third present and voting. And article 3 and other flavor is that article two-third present and voting plus 50% ratification of the 50% ratification of the state. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah, this was it. Yeah, so there are two flavors in which article 368 amendments is there. As per the article 368 amendments is there, and ratification of the state will be by the simple the state legislature. This one, whatever the state legislation ratification will be required, it will be by the simple majority. And what is simple majority? We know, greater than 50% of present plus voting. See, I have discussed this types of majority and all completely in a separate lecture. You can go through it, and then you will understand. Just search majority by Dipankar Devraj, you will be able to find it. Okay, so yeah, types of amendments, two types of amendments is there. Types of two types through the article 368. Article 368 gives the power to the parliament to amend the constitution. Is that one amendment will be through the only by the special majority. In this case, two-third present plus voting will be required. Okay, two-third present plus voting strength will be required. And article 360, another flavor is that a special majority plus ratification of the state legislature. Okay, and within the state legislature, this ratification has to be passed by the simple majority. Okay, the 50% state ratification is required under it. Okay, so certain provision of the constitution required amendment by a simple majority of each house also. Okay, so this is one types of amendments. Okay, that we have seen article 368. And what is article 368? We will see just about just now. Okay, just I want to add one more point here that we have not seen till now, that there are certain provision of the constitution which require amendment by a simple majority. There are certain, I'm not talking about this state one. Okay, I'm talking completely separate. This is completely separate. One amendment was this one type amendment was this one, which is given through the, which has the power is given through the article 368. Now another amendment, another type of amendment in which the amendment of the constitution will be done where the bill has to be passed by the simple majority, okay, of each house. In the above also each house will be there. Okay, so yeah, the simple majority of the each house, this all will be the each house. Okay, that is a majority of the member of each house present and voting. I have just told you what is a simple majority. Simple majority 50%, greater than 50% of present plus voting. Okay, so these amendments are whatever the amendments we are going to do it here, whatever the amendments we are going to do it here, just difference is that it is not as per the article 368. It is not as per this article 368. Okay, it is just a amendment which require simple majority the bill to be passed. Okay, so it clearly means that amendment of the Indian Constitution is possible in three ways. Okay, what are the three ways? First way, in which amendment is to be done by the simple majority. Okay, second, amendment can be done by the special majority, okay, of the parliament, and third, amendment by a special majority of the parliament and the ratification of half of the state legislature. Okay, and that ratification of the state legislature will be done through the simple majority. Okay, yeah, so there are the three types of constitution amendment is possible. Okay, now what is this article 368 tells that? I have noted it down, so we'll see what exactly that, so we will have a more clear about that. See, article 368 is present in the part 20. I have told you in the initial discussion itself. So article 360 is the part 20 of the constitution, deals with the power of parliament to amend the constitution and its procedures. Okay, it states that parliament amend the constitution by way of addition, variation, or repeal of any provision according with the procedure laid down for the purpose. However, the parliament cannot amend those provisions which form the basic structure of the constitution, and this was ruled by the Supreme Court in Keshavananda Bharati case in the year 1973. We have discussed this thing in detail. Just now we have told you everything. It provides for two types of amendment, that is by a special majority of parliament and the special majority along with the ratification of the half of the state legislature by a simple majority. Okay, and another one, amendment of certain provision of the constitution require amendment by a simple majority of each house present and voting, and these amendments are not deemed to be amendments under the article 368. Okay, so there are three types of amendment that we have to do. Okay, and what are the process we will discuss in detail. Okay, I'm just telling you currently what are the types of amendment do we have. Okay, and what kind of majority is required for that amendment. Okay, yeah, so some key point I want to mention it here, then we'll go with the procedure for that. Okay, see, one key point I want to mention that there is no separate constituent body. There is no separate constituent body provided for by our constitution for the amending So see, whatever the amendment that happens in the constitution, there is no separate body. That particular body will be responsible for the amendments. No, it's just that parliament is responsible for that, and parliament do that. Okay, an amendment of the constitution can be initiated only by the introduction of a bill for the purpose either in the house of a parliament. Okay, so now how this amendment process start. Okay, what is the process of this amendment process? We'll see. Okay, now we'll go in depth for that. So what are the steps that is involved under it? Okay, see, so amendments as per article 368. Okay, that we have seen just now. Article 368, which can be done within two ways. One is through the special majority, and another is through a special majority with state ratification, 50% of state ratification, and in the special majority, 2/3 of the present and voting greater than 2/3 of the present and voting votes are required. Okay. Yeah. Hmm. Okay, let me once again pause it here. Hmm. So the procedure of amendment of the Indian Constitution as per Article 368 are, the first step is that an amendment of this constitution may be initiated, that will be initiate that there must be initiation, should be there, initiated only by the introduction of a bill for the purpose in either house of parliament. It can be Rajya Sabha also, it can be Lok Sabha also, and not in the state legislature. Okay, it should be within the parliament. Okay, yes, yet in the one in second in the another type of amendment where the ratification of the state legislature is required, but at no case the introduction of the bill will be done at the state legislative. Okay, it should be the amendment can be taken place only by the introduction of the bill, and this introduction of the bill can be done in, first it has to be done in any either of the house. Okay, now another thing, the bill does not require the prior permission of the president for introduction of the bill. So it does not require prior permission of president for the introduction of the bill in the parliament. Okay, it does not require prior permission. The bill shall be presented by a minister. Whatever the bill is going to be presented, it shall be presented by a minister or a private member. So private member who will be there? So in the Rajya Sabha we know that some people, special people like cricketers and other, like who has a good prominent figure or leadership kind of things is there, who have done a good in their field or have done best in their field in science, technology, sports and all. Those people used to sit in the Rajya Sabha also. Okay, so so private members can also introduce the bill. First they can be bill. Okay, so the bill shall be presented by a minister or a private member. Okay, now the fourth one, the bill must be passed in each house by a special majority, and the majority of the total membership of the house and the majority of 2/3 of the member of the house present and voting. We all know that. Okay, and after that, when it has been presented for when it has been presented by any of the minister and all, then it has to be passed by the special majority. Okay, by both of the house, that is greater than the 2/3 present and voting. And we have discussed what is majority. If you are getting confused, because I'm not going in detail what is a special majority, what is special a simple majority, please go into my majority lecture. You will understand in detail. I have explained in detail with proper example. Okay, please go with that. Now the special majority, and each house must have to pass the bill separately, and there is no provision for joint sitting if any case of disagreement arises between the two houses. So there are scenarios like, let us suppose the equal vote happened, or there is some confusion happened. So there are some provision, that a separate provision where joint house used to sit together, but in the amendment of the constitution there is no such concept. Okay, each house, that is Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, both have to pass independently, the bill. Okay, independently pass the bill, and there is no concept of joint sitting at all. Okay, no concept of joint sitting. You have to pass it within your own house, and it must be passed from the both house. Okay, and if the bill seeks to amend the federal feature of the constitution. That is the third one that I have seen you, that amendment of the constitution can be a special majority with a ratification, 50% ratification of the state, and another one was that passing by the simple majority. Okay, what is, and when this simple majority case will occur, we'll see now. So if the bill seeks to, if the bill seeks to amend the federal feature of the constitution, it must also be ratified by half of the state legislature with a simple majority. It is not the third one, it is the second one. Still it is the second one, where the first one is that a special majority, another one is that whenever that federal feature, let us suppose GST bill, when the GST bill was introduced, so the whole state was going to be impacted. What was happening earlier, that earlier let us suppose from one state to another state, if a goods is being transferred from a truck and all, any vehicle, so the vehicle has to pay the taxes to the each passing states and all. Okay, now those things have been reduced, those things have been finished, and GST was introduced. So in that case, all the states were getting connected with that bill, so it was affecting the federal feature of the constitution. So in that case, this GST bill introduction and passing in the constitution, in that case, one second, yeah, so GST bill was affected the federal character of the federal feature of the constitution, and the constitution, whatever the amendment was going to be happen, it was going to affect the federal character of the nation. State and center both were going to affect it. So in that case, the ratification, the 50% ratification of the state was required. Okay, so in that case, if the bill seeks to amend the federal feature of the constitution, it must be ratified by the half of the state legislature with a simple majority. Okay, and in the normal case, when the federal feature is not going to be affected, then we can go only with the special majority, and no ratification of the state is required. Okay, and see, this one I was telling you na, I just missed it, that I have discussed right now when this special majority is required only, and when this only special majority with ratification of the state is required. Okay, we understood. A special majority ratification of state is required when the federal feature of the constitution is going to be affected. Okay, when the simple majority of each house is required. So see, there are scenarios like formation of the states, or let us suppose name changes, or boundary increase of the state. So that kind of things we have seen in the article in the starting, that we can do so. Okay, and that we have to add in the schedules also. Okay, so adding the names in the schedules is also going to lead to change within the constitution. Okay, so that kind of thing should not be considered as the amendment under the article 360. That is, in that case, it only required simple majority, and after that only this will be constitution will be amended. Okay, we are going to discuss those things in detail. Okay, I'm just giving you a glimpse of it, because just now we have discussed both the things, special majority, special majority ratification. Didn't discuss the simple majority of each house, so I have added that point. Okay, where these things are required. Okay, yeah, and after duly passed by both the houses and ratified by the state, if it required, if the ratification of the state is required. Okay, so then after this, the bill will be, after the, if it is passed, the bill will be presented to president for his assent. Okay, we know that introduction of the bill does not require prior permission of the president. Once it has been passed by both the houses and both the houses, and if it is required the ratification of the state, after all the process has been completed, then it will be sent to the president for his consent. Okay, now the president can neither withhold, now president can neither withhold nor return the bill for the reconsideration purpose of the parliament. Hence, president must have to give his assent to the bill. Okay, so once the bill has been sent to the president has no option. President cannot withhold it, and president cannot return to the house. The president has to sign. No other option is left to the president. Okay, and after the assent of the president, then it will become an act. Okay, and after the assent of the president, then it will become an act. Okay, yeah. So this was the steps that was required for the amendment of the constitution. The types of amendment of the constitution we have seen. Okay, and what is amendment, and why amendment part is included under the constitution, why the constitution framer has included under it. Okay, we'll quickly revise that a framer constitution wanted that we should not be rigid, it should be flexible, it should not be that much flexible. Okay, but it should be difficult to amend. Okay, that's why constitution framer has introduced this amendment concept. Okay, and this has been power is given to the article 368. Okay, generally. Okay, and if the amendment is not required under article 368, so amendment can be done through simple majority also, like we have seen that amendment on the schedule names and all, that we can do so through the simple majority, and it will not be considered article 368. That is a separate one. Okay, and the amendments under the article 368, it requires two flavors are there, that is required in the amendment of the constitution. One is like the special majority, and if the amendment is going to affect the federal structure of the constitution, though in that case the amendment can be done where the ratification by the 50% of the state is required. Okay, and within the special majority, what is special majority? Within the special majority, 2/3 present, more than the vote that is required for the present, more than 2/3 present and voting vote is required for the both the houses. Okay, so the bill has to be passed by the both the houses. Okay, and what are the process of amendment under the article 368? First, it has to be initiated in any of the house, that can be do so, and one is initiated, there is no require of any permission by the president. Okay, and it can be done by any minister or private member also, and it has to be passed by the special majority. And if that bill is going to affect the federal structure of the constitution or federal structure of the country, so in that case the ratification by the 50% of state will be required. Okay, and if the bill seeks to amend the federal structure, so okay, yeah, so with a simple majority, the bill has to be passed by the simple majority when the ratification of the state is required. Okay, if the bill is presented, if the bill is been passed by the both the houses, and if required by the state ratification, if it's passed by everything, then it will be sent to the president for his assent. Okay, and the president has no other option. He can't withhold, he can't return to the house. Okay, he has to sign that bill. He has to give his assent on the bill, and then after that bill will become an act. Okay, so this was all about this lecture. We'll go more detail, we'll go more details in the coming session. So this was all over about that and amendments of the constitution. I guess now you have understood the complete picture, what exactly that amendment of the constitution, what are its types, why it was introduced, what does it mean. Okay, this was all about in this lecture. Please like and subscribe. This is a new channel, we really need your support. If you have any doubt, please put in the comment section. If you want to connect with me, please connect with me any social media handle account. Thank you.